So let's get started. So some announcements. The due date for the summer challenge, the book cover design challenge, which is what you see on the front page right now. All of the pictures with the snake emerging from the painting that has to do with the summer challenge. For some reason the story got cropped. I really need to look out for this for the next couple months. Give my mods like a copy of the text so that when this happens and it gets deleted, they can instantly add it back. But it is due next critique hour. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, it's gonna be due and handed in at 4 p.m. Eastern. Due Tuesday, September 29th at 4 p.m. Eastern. All submissions must be on the wall 1 hour before critique hour. Event countdown will be posted on my channel. The event's already up on my channel. If you guys want to come by and talk about the channel, the challenge, come to that critique hour next Tuesday, the 29th of September. How is September already over? How does that make sense? Why did September last 15 minutes? Somebody tell me why it lasted less than a half hour. I don't even know where September went. How is it October? I don't even know. I have no idea. Okay, and then that's it for announcements. Really, Portrait Studio is on a sale price at the moment, slightly higher than the actual sale price from the earlier these months in this year, but it's still hopefully at an affordable rate considering the current financial crisis and all of that. If you want to support on Patreon, if you learn something from our classes and you want to give back, all I ask is if you have the time and the financial security to do it, of course. Support as a watcher. I'm trying to rally everyone to come in and join as watchers, just because it keeps us independent and it promises the posterity and longevity of the channel. Thank you to every single one of you who I wish I could thank every single one of you personally, but it's a little bit difficult to do that. But luckily there is a nice little thank them personally edition now on Patreon where I can just send you thank yous from my notes, from my phone, which is really cool feature they have now. But thank you to everyone who's joined. Thank you to everyone who's answered the call. Thank you to all the tiers, anyone who's joined for any tier. I appreciate it. Let's get started on today's critique hour. So today I had a difficult time deciding what to critique because I've been talking a lot about lighting and environments, right? I've covered a lot of talk about environment lighting, indoor and outdoor. But today I want to talk about features again, portraits. I kind of just, I've been flow between those two major subjects, personalized features and portraiture and all of that stuff, and faces and portraits. And then going back to environmental lighting and form and edge work and stuff. I hope to add another island that we can visit episodically, like maybe doing a sequence of form study critique hours. Form studies are pretty self-explanatory. The magic of form studies comes from mileage. Of course, the fundamentals that are inscribed in that whole process, but from keeping your edges sharp, one plane per brushstroke, etc. But portraits and figures, I feel like could be something else. Figures alone. Gesture drawing, figure drawing month. We could get back into doing that. Challenges are really cool to keep narrative back in with illustration and book covers. Creature design for the October challenge that's coming up is another cool island we visit throughout the year sometimes. I might do a continuation of the creature design into December. For the December challenge, we always do something fun for the Christmas season. But I might try to implement something figure drawing related, gestural, all of that stuff, dancing, maybe something cool like that. I love dancing, so I haven't really done enough challenges for dancing. I remember the sword dancer challenge. Do you guys remember that? That was just amazingly fun back during Google+. But yeah, it's time for us to get into something a little different, which is portraits. And this specific portrait subject is handsome men, handsome male faces. What makes a face a male and what makes a male face handsome? I'm just trying to decide which of these I want to critique. where we'll get the best before and after so that you could really see the trail we followed to get the effect of the changes. And I think this one is the best because almost completely feminine eyes. And this one is great in that the eyebrows do read as masculine, but let's talk about it. So and I'm just gonna quickly zip through all of the rules that come with form study. 14-day challenge posts. I'm not sure if some of these are just studies or 14-day challenges. I'm gonna treat them as 14-day challenges. For 14-day challengers, please make sure that your post is vertical. It's not a tile canvas. I don't want to see any old tile canvases here. So sorry if I sound tired. I got little to no sleep last night. And I've been trying to kind of work out more as well and go to the gym and push myself again since they're open. So it's so hard balancing exercise with being an artist because it's such a sedentary activity. That's right, that's the right word, right? Sedimentary. But it's resulted in me being extremely fatigued. But it's really good for my back at the end of the day to work out. So it's a crazy juggling game I have to play. But it's going to result in me sounding tired all the time until I get back into like the norm of working out, putting my body through that cardio, 45 minutes of cardio. Maybe I don't need to be doing 45 minutes of cardio. Maybe I should relax a little bit. All right, so, but I really recommend working out. Just a side tangent here. Really work out, you guys. Work out. Don't be sloths. Art is no reason for obesity. Working out makes you think better, period. It makes you better in all aspects. Regulates mood. Makes you have a more drive for life. Keeps you happy. Take your vitamin D3 as well. I've been just trying to be strict with getting back into things that, you know, keep people healthy. Anyway, so please present your 14-day challenge in a vertical canvas just like this. This is a courtesy to me when you guys do this, as well as to those who are critiquing you. These kinds of canvases are restricted. They change the way you work. They're ridiculous, and they really don't let you see the full scope of the anatomy you're exploring. If you have space on all poles of the canvas, then you really get to see the effect of each anatomical cluster in comparison to another, whereas if you crop it, certain areas become hidden because of restricted space, so your brain doesn't really address that area as addressable. So male faces, what do male faces mean? What do they mean? And in order for us to know what a male face does, we have to know what a female face does. So the female face is the beauty triangle. Big eyes, small nose, small mouth, downturned eyes, looking like that, or, you know, almond-shaped eyes. Distance between the eyebrow and the... So let's just do a quick little female face sketch. Horrible sketch, correction. Alright. Oh god, now I'm really getting watched now. So I'm doing a really basic... Oh geez, this is just wrong on so many levels. Alright. I'm just trying to show some of these basics here. Why does she look angry? Don't Istebrak, just do it. Okay, so this is a basic, beautiful face. I'm just gonna... The gasps are coming. Oh my god, teacher did that? Oh my god, teach? What the hell? Yo, you won't believe what the professor did in class today. She duplicated the sides of her sketch. Oh my god, ew, what the hell is going on with this sketch? Give me a second, y'all. Okay, so we've got eyes and eyebrows with large space in between them. The eyebrows, let's take a zoom up, have an arc to them. Female eyebrows have an arc because the dome of the eyebrow bone is circular and almost merges perfectly to the cheekbone and to the chin and then to the forehead. So we have like a lifted up eyebrow bone. For men, from the 3/4 view, they kind of do that. They're kind of a very low eyebrow. And so if you Google it right now, male face, female face, you can see the difference in the features. Okay, so this guy is obviously pouting, but let's just pick any old face. So he's got flat eyebrows, no eyebrow arc at the bottom. And you can always Google eyebrow Joey and see how his eyebrows look when he finally did them. And you can see that where they painted the eyebrow is too high along the brow bone, right? So there's one with one eyebrow done, one eyebrow not done, so you can see how it's flat. But it looks weird on men to have perfectly shaped eyebrows because the brow bone is heavy and low. You can see all the highlight around the eyebrow. See that? That's not just the makeup. That's actually his bone structure as well. And so, as you can see here, it's so funny. I miss this show. But when we're talking about a male face that has both eyebrow bone that's low and a feminine plucked eyebrow, this is all I see. Just Joey with his eyebrows. So let's fix that. And then we move on. Because female eyebrows are downturned, female eyes are downturned in that almond shape, that cat eye look. Male eyes are flattened or downturned in the opposite direction. Female noses fit inside the inner corners of the eyes. Male noses can exceed that size or sit within that size for a handsome male. Female eyes are apart. Male eyes are closer together. And then we've got the chin being pretty much carved into this, into this circular oval. It is the opposite for men, where they have this supplemented bone structure that expands the lower half of the jawline to be really strong. Female necks are tall and slender, and I'm talking about tropes over here. If you have a problem with tropes, just shut up and listen, because I don't really care about merging or androgyny or anything like that. We're talking about very specific ends of the spectrum so that you can draw a male when someone hires you to draw one. So the jawline being stronger for males comes doubly with the thick neckline. We can have skinnier men that have a thinner neckline, but you still need that stronger jaw. Even this sketch looks crazy now because we've expanded her neck and it just looks uncanny. So that's what I'm talking about. Learn the differences between male and female. So remember, there's male read, which can mean not necessarily handsome, and then there's handsome male. So remember, let's just recap on that one video I did where we talked about like the ugliest ugly imaginable, and I looked up this weird monster photo fantasy monster thing. Really, you guys need to watch that. It's a silly old video from my channel. Let me find it. It's called Ogre Istebrak. Just Google Ogre Istebrak, and I talk about it in great detail. So I create this spectrum. We have Ogre at one end, Elf at the other end, and then we've got typical ugly on one side, beauty on the other. Men are still on the beautiful side. Handsome men are closer to the elf beauty. The highest point of the elf, like the farthest right, is the like the cat or a baby face, or like the cutest thing you can imagine, just like a circle with two big eyes on it, like baby Digimon or something. And then on the farthest end, I actually like found pictures like this ogre from the Lord of the Rings. Not only is he ugly, he's old, he's no eyebrows, villainous, you know, he looks like a zombie, he looks like a decomposed body, whereas a baby who was just born is the opposite of a decomposed body, excuse me, which is high vitality, life, you know, renewal. So we're talking about these two ends, or we're talking about male and female, and the difference between male and female. That's why I say you've got age to worry about, gender, you've got reads between creatures and all kinds of character design at your fingertips. And if you teeter on that androgyny realm, you are literally denying a world of knowledge. That's why it's not just about male versus female beauty. It's about male versus female, period. Old versus young, dead versus alive, zombies versus cute monsters. You know, so make sure you guys are watching this video. And I get an even uglier, oh Jesus. Look at that. I get an even, so big mouth, big nose, small eyes, eyes close together, no eyebrows. You can see how it's the opposite of eyebrows or eyeliner. Let's say no eyebrows because it's a creature. Tiny nose, no mouth, opposite of big mouth, right? Tiny nose, opposite of big nose, within the confines of the inner corners of the eyes. Outside of the confines of the inner corners of the eyes. Big eyes in comparison to the shape of the head. So head to eye ratio we're talking. These eyes are obviously bigger than these, but in relation to the head and the other feet. I can't even look at this without wanting to puke. I don't even know what that is. Is that from a horror show or something? And yes, men are still, it's not that men are on the ogre side. Men are still past the middle, past closer to beauty. They're just not at beauty. They're at normal or average, like I wrote here. Helen Mirren. I don't know what other shit. How old is this? 2015. So 5 years ago, me. Good luck. You know, I don't know. I'm kind of crazy over the years, so enjoy into the rabbit hole you go watching this. So we're back to this, and we see that men are not necessarily uglier. What's the cancellation? Male face is a cancellation of the female beauty. Cuteness, write that back to me. And then male beauty is the addition of, or the balance of, male read and female beauty. Write that back to me. So handsome male face is different from male face. Male face, you can still find a super handsome guy. What's a super handsome guy that I'm like totally crazy about? I don't know. I don't really have crushes on, you know, TV shows anymore. So what's like a handsome but kind of ugly actor? Oh my God. Of course. All right, there we go. He's the man, his way he is, okay? He's the hottest creature on this goddamn planet. All right. So let's talk about this hunk, this devil of a man, okay? This absolute beast, this tank of a man. This monster, this just straight up, I'm just blushing right now. I can't even look at this fella without wanting to cry. And this is him as Punisher, I think. Okay, so his mouth, very wide. His nose, wider than his eyes, right? But he's still a beast. So he's still very handsome. So you see, you don't have to be a pretty boy to be handsome, but male is its own thing. Male face is its own thing, and then you got handsome male. Google any pretty boy, heartthrob, teen heartthrob. That's handsome male plus beauty. So just give me like a second, just to get him a little bit longer. Ooh, of course you've got a pimple or whatever that is. Seriously, dude. Oh my God, are those grays? Anyway. So I'll save this for later. Let me just say, I'm joking. So let's turn him into two versions of him. We're gonna make him male, and then we're gonna make him handsome male. All right, let's go. So the first thing about male faces is that they're longer too, because you're adding size vertically and towards the, like, you know, the lower parts, the chin, the jaw. So yeah, we're already on a separate layer. So let's get chopping. All right, so I'm going to elongate the nose. A longer nose as well. Remember, the male face is a rectangle, whereas the beauty triangle for like a cat. Remember, write this shit down, guys. It's a lot of information. Is a triangle, right? It's a short square triangle. Compare this to that. We don't want that on a male face because that is instantly baby face. It does not work if you know, if you're trying to design a character who's supposed to be a John Bernthal fucking beast of a man. All right. Today's class will be 2 hours. She senpai Punisher, as you all say. John Bernthal is 100% senpai material. All right. His name is John too. Jeez, like have mercy on the ladies. So, just gonna clean that up here. All right. So a longer face. You see that? Just that difference alone. And then I'm not going to enlarge the nose because the nose still has to be proportionate to the head. Write that back to me. I'm going to bring the eyes closer together. Those they can be closer together. All right, so remember, we're doing 2-parter today. We're going to do standard male, which can still be handsome, okay? Just because you're not a pretty boy doesn't mean the girls don't want you. In fact, girls don't really like pretty boys all that much. Right, not everyone's into that metrosexual Korea, K-pop, pretty. I can't tell if you're a girl or a boy. Do you have one? Features, okay? Some girls just like their man ugly. Why am I talking like that? I've just been a little bit crazy. So brought the eyes closer in together. I didn't enlarge the nose. I'm not trying to turn it into that ogre that you saw, that scary big tooth thing that I was talking about earlier. Just brought the eyes closer together. Okay, male lips. So male lips are tricky. First, let's enlarge the jawline. That was the wrong thing to do. So I'm going to give him more jaw. That's going to define his largeness as a man. Not necessarily saying that skinny boys are not men. I'm saying for the read, for the art of it all, for the fact that we're trying to make it read as a, I'm not giving him a big ol', what's that from Fairly Godparents? The Fairly Odd Parents, the chin dude, the chin master. I don't know what he is. He's like a super, I'm not trying to turn him into a cartoon or a caricature. I am trying to make the mouth read as smaller. Crimson chin, there you go. Lips. Let's talk about male lips. Male lips don't have to be perky. In fact, the male face can look really weird when it's got super perky lips. So there is an actor, I forget who it is, and he's just got straight up like sausages. And he's handsome, and there's some girls who would call him a heartthrob. Definitely not me. I just think a good old beard, some thinner lips, just nothing that looks like it's got lip gloss on it is my go-to. Alright, so we do paint our tastes. So remember, I am painting for my taste, but at the same time I am talking about anatomical differences between male and female, genetics, male and female, hormones. So the thinner the upper lip, the less perky the lips look. Sometimes a lower lip can look bigger, but the lips don't really look perky, if you guys have noticed that. It's mostly the perkiness or the poutiness or the beauty or the cuteness of a character is in the upper lip being cute. Just look at the overbites for all the Disney characters, for the new stuff, new Disney shit. Lower lip, not that important. Look at the way they drew like characters like Kim Possible. She just has an upper lip because from the side, it just looks like that, and the lower lip doesn't really matter, just like those Disney characters. So when you're talking about a really, really feminine lip, it's the opposite of a really male lip, which can look like that. All right, so that is what we would define as handsome. Thinner upper lip, thicker lower lip, or just no lips at all for males. Not no lips, but low enough, small enough that it looks masculine. So let's talk about the cheekbones, because this is, I see some people giving up, like giving in straight feminine, like Erykah Badu, Naomi Campbell cheekbones. This is not going to work out. Male cheekbones exist, but they're more indented. They're more inward. If we were to just choose a specific shape, like to work as like the mascot that you guys could remember, it's just this the inner indentation. You still got cheekbones from the side, you still got this in the chin and the nose and the eyebrow bone, but you don't have, so you have this from the side, you don't have this from the side. That cheekbone that encircles the eyes is what I would call a feminine cheekbone. All right, let's move forward. It's a lot to go through. I might run out of time, so I might try to combine male and female, male and handsome male at the same time. Just looking at them already half an hour, spent half an hour drooling over John Bernthal. Real men should be seen, that hurt. And then I have a problem altogether with anybody who does noses like this. Y'all give me the biggest nostril you ever seen, but the tiniest little nostril hole. Like, what are you guys painting? Like bridge trolls? Enough with this. The nostril is the hole. So if you got a big nostril, you got a big nostril hole. So please size them up and stop giving me this bee-stung, oversized septum. The septum is a little droopy bit. Just take it easy with that. Shrink it. It's just a small little flap of skin. Keep the nostrils separate from each other so they could function interchangeably. The eyes are big, which is okay, but the pupil in the iris being big is a common problem in art today. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink them. So we're going to shrink them down to a standard size. An acceptable size. And then I'm going to adjust the shape of the eye. And then we're going to finally talk about the eyebrows, which is probably the biggest giveaway. I was got biggest giveaway. Give us big away. You can tell I have no sleep at all. It is the biggest giveaway for male faces. Give us big away. God damn. Biggest giveaway. Alright, so let me just clean this up. Probably already fumbled with words, like, and I didn't notice. Give us big away. Nostril is the hole. Yes, exactly. So you see what that's done is his face looks so realistic all of a sudden just because we shrunk the pupils on the iris. So before, look at that. Before, it looks like he's wearing those contacts and enlarged the pupils. After, very realistic. Just by shrinking the pupils in the iris, you just get all this realism just popping out of the ground. So let's move forward. Then we've got these dark circles that you just seem to have added. Maybe you were feeling tired. Maybe you were up till 4 a.m. like me, and you just felt like adding those on. I feel like they're additional characterizing features that should not be on a 14-day challenge. 14-day challenge should be an exercise of standards, templates, tropes, basic nondescripts. All right, we're trying to talk about what makes a face read and getting better at drawing faces. We're not trying to characterize. So giving him dark circles that strong, he just looks like what you would draw on a character who had stayed up, that you're trying to make it feel like, you know, they're tired. Ears. Let's talk about ears. Let's talk about ears. So, if you guys remember in silly monkey. What's it called again? Alright. So, do you guys remember this monkey? Look at how they drew him. Okay? In comparison to Caesar, home aged legend wire brush natural. If you guys see my Home Depot, Caesar, planet of the apes. Okay. Images. And look at how they designed Caesar. Alright, so just look at the way the ears are tucked in. Yes, it's a monkey. And you could really see it. Shit. You could really see it here. So we're talking about a realistic depiction of these characters. Right? and then you compare it to this, and look at what they used on the ears. He is the main character. He is the big, you know, the big guy. He's the guy who saved everyone. So when you think about the protagonist, you really want to dress the protagonist as the hero, as the guy who's handsome. So Caesar is very handsome for a monkey, but he's just all the telltale signs of a male. And then female, I think there was a female character, if I remember correctly. Not this grotesque thing. I really can't find one. I guess there wasn't a female character in this. But they would have set her eyes apart further. So this is the baby. The nose is within the eye lines. See that? The mouth is still needs to be adjusted for the read of the genetics of an ape, right? So we can't mess with that. Because that would look funny. So look at what they did with the ears. And then what you did with the ears here is the same thing. Ears are strong for characterizing. And let's look at Liquify really quickly. So when we're talking about characters that have ears this big, we're not going to take them seriously because they're just too friendly. They look like a baby's head. That's what we are remembering when we see someone's ear look like this. When we see someone's ears that look like this, they look more like an adult. It's more closely packed in. And a good example I like to use for this is the white orc from The Hobbit. So the white orc images. So his ears are very tucked in. They still read as you know, like the fairy ears. You know, they were all once elves. So they have that elf ear, but it's tucked into the sides of his head. I wouldn't call it silly. And of course, there's the scary horn-like shape that they have. Triangle shapes used on villains make villains look scarier. But silly ogre, Lord of the Rings. I don't remember one being there. I don't remember a silly-ish ogre or a dorky ogre. They were all kind of designed to be scary. But then I guess the closest thing is just Gollum. Nice, you know, nice Gollum. He's got the big eyes, and I think they do adjust his features as he gets scarier or uglier. Look at how big his eyes are in comparison to when he's ugly and scary, when he turns to his evil self. So the eyes are shrunken. And then the ears are kind of more popping out, catching subsurface scattering. So really be careful with the ears. They characterize a great deal. Careful with the fat lobes, the low lobes. It adds that heftiness. Also very, very feminine to have a larger lobe. It's more masculine to have a lobe that is kind of not there or tucked away. So we're going to start tucking in the face so that he's more of a... When you're writing characters, if you don't need the character to be overweight as a protagonist, you don't make them overweight. So we're talking about narratives here. Everything is used with purpose. Everything is designed with purpose. We don't usually get, if you've noticed, hefty main characters. A hefty character is always the side character. It's hard to imagine one other than Sam. I love Sam. Sam is the heft, and I love him. But again, he still wasn't the main character. I'm not even sure if he was written as fat. I don't remember in the Lord of the Rings books. But in the end of the day, it's not that fatties can't be heroes. It's that it's when you write a fat character or a bigger character or a round character or a curvy character, you have to write them for the role that benefits from their body. It's like casting actors. You're not going to cast a chunky actor for the next Mad Max, okay? It doesn't make any sense, first of all, because everyone's starving. And second, you know, it just doesn't feel like he's athletic enough to meet the roles of the story. And now we're just talking about storytelling. So use it just like you would any other prop. Use the weight of a character to boost or you know, encourage what it is you've written for the character. So I'm just tucking in the sides here. I don't want the neck and the chin and the shoulders and all that to look like one item. And the less weight you have, the more jawline is visible. It's like really healthy versus unhealthy, athletic, stamina versus no stamina. Does he even need stamina? It's not every character is going to be a Kung Fu Panda, you know, embodiment. All right, for the nose, we don't really, female noses are upturned more than male noses. Male noses are either straight or lower than. We don't really see a lot of nostril when it comes to that basic standard male beauty. But I'm not talking about an Asian nose or an African nose, just a standard Caucasian or universal. And then there's eye scale, so the scale of things. So I'm going to shrink the eyes just by using the did I merge the layers yet? Yeah, I did. Filter, liquify. I'm just going to bring the eyes closer in together one more time. I feel like he's still a bit handsome. And I'll show you how bringing the eyes in even more helps. And then I'm not trying. I think the way you did the radial shading really makes his mouth look a little turtly, and the chin. But he can be a superhero at this point. So let me bring in the eyes closer together because they're still technically handsome. And I'm trying to separate handsome from male at the moment. All right. I think the face is a touch too long. So let me correct that. And with males, you really don't want to ever, for anyone, male or female, don't overdo the Cupid's bow. It's literally the most delicate, anticlimactic bump on the face, but you guys do it, you guys overdo it like crazy. All right, when you disconnect the chin from the upper lip, you get that older character look, or you get that male look. Doesn't have to be a wrinkle. It can just be just a structural surface change. And that's what happens when you have more rigid faces or rigid bone structure. Male faces almost always have the shadow of the mustache or the shadow of the beard. And now, last but not least, the eyebrows and the upper eyelid. So female faces are in two ways more feminine, or feminine in two big ways. The fact that they have more upper eyelid space, and the fact that the eyebrow is far away from the eye. Is everybody taking all this? Because this is a shit ton of knowledge right now, so please make sure you're taking notes. What we want to do is show that this heaviness of the eyebrow bone comes down over the eye, hooding the upper eyelid. So we actually don't have a lot of upper eyelid space. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna drop that. And you can see how these eyebrows are just extremely, extremely feminine. There's two things we do to eyebrows to make them masculine. We bring the hair back that was plucked away to flatten the eyebrow. So instant hair regrowth serum. So give him back his natural lush eyebrows. And we're going to take the eyebrows and drop them lower, closer to the eyes. This might affect the general structure and placement of the eyes. I could easily raise the eyes up as well and correct the length of the head. This really just depends on what the result is. All right, so it's not that we're creating an expression. There is a slight expression. I want to correct it. It's that we're closing that feminine gap. So his eyes, as drawn by the artist, are naturally bigger, so they are going to look a little bit more friendly, I guess you can say. Another thing about male eyes might save some time. I photoshopped, there's a face adjustment option with the Liquify tool. It's okay. I got used to this. And I'm going to just get rid of this stuff here. You guys outline the entire waterline for some reason, even though the centermost sticky outy part of the waterline catches the light. I'm not sure why you guys do that, but you do. Stop doing it. Not acceptable. It's on a sphere, it's not flat. Okay, and then hooded eyes don't just kind of like sit like a perfect umbrella. They kind of just floop as well. So you close that, kind of just cancel out that upper crest shape just there. The darkness of the lower eyelid looks more like eye makeup than it does. And again, you see how the dark circles you added are just aging him. I'm gonna get rid of that extra pigment you have around and under the radial shading. Remember, radial shading just sits on the top. I'm gonna do some blending in a second. Not sure why he has such a defined little thing here. But I'm just blocking in the major shadows in the area. It's a general shadow, really. Oof. You could also go to the lengths of completely getting rid of the eye, upper eyelid space. We need a bit more highlights here and here. And the pupils in the iris still look really big to me. I'm not sure why. Let me see what I can do with Liquify. So Liquify. Pinch. 1, 2, 1, 2. That looks a bit more acceptable. Okay. Oof, lots of stuff to cover. Now he's looking up a little, so I'm just gonna correct the gaze. Oh, wrong tool. You probably have already guessed what this before and after is gonna look like. So now he's looking forward. And to make eyes look like they're engaged with the viewer, cross one and then cross the other one to match. Cross one to look at you and cross the other one to match. The eyes are also a little bit long, so I'm just going to tuck in the sides. Maybe re-enlarge them because I lost size. It's a really, really delicate process doing all this. I also don't want him to look like he had a face, a facelift. Getting rid of these. Trying to just make it look masculine together. Gonna re-enlarge them a touch. And probably raise them up a little bit more. And when you raise the eyes up, you can delete a lot because they're now tucked under all of that. So you can see you don't actually get any more upper eyelid space, and that's the biggest giveaway that a man has gotten a facelift, is that he actually looks like he has more upper eyelid space than the regular Joe. Okay. So remember, we're not going for beautiful, just masculine. So I'm going to start blending now. I need to get rid of any of that brow catching the light. Because remember, this is just a drawing. It's a derivative of what men actually do, what male faces actually do. Now we enlarge the whole thing, just so it matches the head size. But you can keep it small if need be as well. And then I'm just gonna start blending the skin. Remember, male faces aren't blended to the same softness as female faces. They kind of keep a lot more edges, especially around the cheekbone. So where in a female you would blend like to this level for a female cheek, you don't use that on a male face. You kind of blend to this level. 9% is still too strong. I'm pressing really hard today. Give the hack job. I just had to cover a lot of material. I'm just not comfortable with the way you painted the pupils and the iris, mostly because they've got this glitter on them, the specular light, that really shouldn't be there considering the eyes are that low. And we've got, you know, the missing upper eyelid space there. Right, and sometimes there's a little extra winging here. The sides of the nose can be darker on a male face just because the male nose is a little bit more strong, catching more light. And this little bump that was once filled in for a female, well, not filled in, was once depressed and kind of pretty looking, is less Disney princess nose and more strong. So I'm missing a lot of extra stuff, but we're moving forward slowly. So what makes a male face feel more handsome is basically all the stuff you would do for a female. You just bring the nose and the mouth closer together. You shrink the nose and the mouth. You shrink the mouth. You keep all of the basics of the male, so the stronger chin and all of that. But then you so I'm gonna duplicate this, bring that down, and then just show you just by giving us a more feminine eye, but not in the fact that the eyebrow is now higher. Remember, beauty is different from the gender. It's that we've turned up the eye, turned down the inner eye to get a more handsome man. That's a female beauty thing. Or it's not even belonging to females, it's just babies. Get it? So that has made his face more handsome. So you can see the difference. Okay? And then there's just the fact that his eyes can be bigger. Another female beauty thing. Sorry, the eyes are so asymmetrical. No, wrong layer. So any questions at all? The nose is a little too low, so I'm going to make it more square head than a longer head as soon as I blend it. Blending out the shadow. You can also give him perkier lips. Remember, don't overblend the cheeks. The eyes are still bothering me, but it's because the artist is having trouble with eyes. That, you know, they were long and wide, and the lower eyelid was a little bit overdone. So I'm gonna blend it out. I'm gonna just just because liquifying that is going to be a nightmare. I'm going to just block over it. I don't really want to give him those lip dimples. And I might give him a stronger lower lip. You can make a male lip more perky just by enlarging it towards the lower half. Be careful, because it'll look like Handsome Squidward really fast. Alright, and then for the male neutral, we're just going to weigh down those two. I'm trying not to make it look like that. Bringing back the Cupid's bow. And this is still significantly more, you can just tell the difference. Well, I haven't really deleted that stuff yet. This is still significantly, the pretty male is still significantly more masculine than the before. So I was not comfortable with the way that the pupils and the iris were drawn. For the lesson anyway. So before, see that we brought female standards back, but still keep it beautiful. And you can keep these eyes where they are and just bring back the old mouth as well, and it would still be handsome. Maybe a little Putin-esque, but all right. So that's something else about the cheekbones, is that it's on the outsides. Get rid of that little bump, that cheekbone. I think that was the ear. And that's why Putin's face is so feminine, pretty, because he's got like these really, really feminine cheekbones. And then there's other things you can do with the male face you can't really do with the female face. For instance, you can widen the mouth. You can lower it. You can raise it. Alright, you can lower the eyebrows even lower, but keeping the eyes big to make it look more masculine. And it wouldn't be an expression. It would just be the male read. You can raise the eyebrows to create a more friendly character. It doesn't always have to be a really low eyebrow. All right, and I'm not saying make an Asian eye when I'm saying get rid of the what am I saying? Get rid of the crease. I'm saying that when you have males who have a strong crease, who have a strong upper eyelid presence, it tends to look a little bit more feminine or delicate. He has delicate features, is what he would be described as, a man with delicate features. Okay. So for this artist, just like I did just now, I really would, and why I'm adding shadows is to show that that bone structure is stronger. And male foreheads don't really have that dome shape, they're kind of indented. I'm going to start a little higher and just cancel out any highlights that kind of create that cheekbone look. And center those highlights down here, where we have those oysters, as Hannibal would call it. Alright, again, we're just comparing. So the cheekbones needed adjustment for it before. Okay. I'm going to try to make the eyes a little bit more clean rendered just for the sake of the before and after. So it's not to say that the before was not male. it's to say that the before was a nuanced male, probably from photo reference, and not necessarily the best thing you should be studying, considering you're trying to learn male read, female read. And you see how you have to know the female face in order to do the male face? You kind of have to learn the rule to break it. And that's why I always rush the female face just for my students, because I know they're going to need it. For a lot of reasons, it's more commercially in demand, as well as it's kind of like the starting point. And there's another thing you can do to male faces that makes them look more male, which is bring the lower corner, outer corner, down. Big, big, big trick here to make an eye, to make a character look handsome, but still read as male. I'm going to just shrink his head like I said I would. Oops. Yeah. Oop. Oop. What did I just do? This before works fine too. This is the other mouth. And then this is with the downturned eyes. This is with kind of level eye corner, inner and outer. This is with the downturned lower eyebrow, shorter nose. Careful not to go overboard with the short face. And then I think I'm going to, after doing that, just raise up the eyebrows and the eyes, just because the ears were, or I could just lower the ears. The ear line is supposed to be level with the eyebrows and the nose, but because I tucked them in. All right, so now he's like handsome male, Prince Charming male, and always go for the square head. All right, so lots of stuff today. And then this is some additional shit that you can do. So you could enlarge the lower jawline to create a more beefy character. You could really drop the nose. You could widen the nose. You could make him angry on that side, I'm joking. You could shrink the nose. You could bring the eyes in closer together, or shrink the eyes collectively. Now you're getting into that macho mafia, right? You can do all that and shrink the mouth. There's a lot you can do. Before, after. Still handsome, just a little more scary. Why? Because we're borrowing from the Ogre. Alright, so I'm just gonna undo the majority of these. Just a small adjustment made the biggest difference. And I'm not trying to make him angry, just trying to flatten out the eyebrow. Alright, and then you could also enlarge the nose bridge as well. And there's no reason why you can't create breaks. So this is the before the liquify, after the liquify. And then you can make breaks in the nose just as much as you can for female. There's really no need to not do that. And then just start rendering. And then the entire eye cavity needs to just be dropped a little lower, just because it's under a heavier shadow. And there's more shadow in between the eyebrows as well, because again, that kind of caveman eyebrow, that low eyebrow bone. Okay. So I'm just gonna blend it out for the after. Remember that Liam Neeson nose, that having a lot of highlight towards the top of the nose? That is like a big giveaway for the male read, and sometimes they get a really strong bump in between. All right. And sometimes you do the for older males, you kind of throw in that wrinkle, but that's another day. A much stronger chin bump. Catch in the light. You can do a double clef chin, whatever it's called. Just be careful not to leave the male read for the chin. And then, of course, we need a stronger shadow for the lower neck area. Okay, so painting males isn't as complicated. It's just a list of things you have to consider and things you can't miss. You have to make sure you have them. Especially in this world of illustration, where very, very quickly, with one mistake, you lose a read for you know, the male from a distance. If it's a character or a book cover or something, you lose it really, really quickly. Because the neck is more beefy, the neck shadow is a little canceled out. And you can start messing around with how much weight he has on his face, how little, the size of his eyes, what's happening with his nose. His nose can be more defined, more like that, more Arab. And you can just start adjusting thereafter. So this would be just blended up, keeping the edge around. Just one of those kind of pinched in noses, very slender. And then we've got general blending, trying not to make it look like an age marker or a beard or anything. Okay. Try not to overdraw the eyebrows as well. They're kind of, men do have very strong eyebrows. Like Abu's got that Comic-Con eyebrow. If you guys have ever seen his picture, his eyebrows literally look like the Comic-Con eye. Literally Abu's eyes. But it's not, it's still a flat eyebrow. It's still really, really hairy. Beautiful eyebrows. But then they're long. They trail toward the lower corner of his eye. Then you've got males with eyebrows that look just like that. Oops. What am I using? Eraser? Yeah. Eyebrows that look straight up like that, and they look fine too. And then just, of course, don't forget all of that. Anyway, let's flatten. Very big difference today, don't freak out. So before, very feminine eyes, almost like you drew a female. Maybe you did, but I'm going to take it as a male face because of the thickness of the neck, and just go from there. But it's all the same applications here as well. So after. So that's the typical male face. It doesn't have to be this strong. The structure of the bones do not have to be this strong. Let me do one last little additional amendment. We don't have to have these strong features. You can have a more uniform face and he'd still look like a strong henchman. Right? Doesn't have to look like that. He can have slightly thicker lips. He can have all of that. He doesn't need this strong Superman face. And I hope I'm not aged him too much because I'm just not blending as much as I should. Alright, so the same thing goes for this male face. It's the exact same thing as our before today. I'll just select this before just so that an exaggerated after means that you guys are working halfway to it, which means you guys are at the right spot. So before, after, right? And then we're looking at these, which look like the after before here. Distant eyebrow to eye. Shape in the eyebrows. Lips are too full. Overdefined feminine chin, like the lower lip is puckered. This guy has it right, but just the presentation's all wrong and you're valley sharing like hell. Nose is wider than the inner corners. Downturned eyes. I don't know what it is about you guys in the dark lower eyelid. Are they wearing makeup? If they're not, get rid of it. Okay. I am patronizing. I am. Oh, yeah. Call me daddy. Ew. Shut up, Mr. Brock. Right, so you just need to work a little bit more on the structure of the cheeks because you see how you have an outward shape? Like, you see that? Just like that. Just do a little swing with your body. Do the opposites. I just squeeze it out. Get rid of it. And then just closing off that chunk. All right. But if you're painting, and then but the background value is abysmal. Jesus Christ, watch a light environment class, would you? What is that? Raise the background value so we can see the character. Please, so you can know what shape you're drawing. Why is there so much light on the face but such a dark value? Slap, slap. To get slapped, come to the front of the class. I can spank you. Shut up, Mr. Rack. What are you doing? What am I doing right now? Alright, so just something like that. A little, I mean, maybe a little bit more. Come on, Mr. Brack. Okay. Spanks to Brack. Ay, ay, ay. I made a lot of mistakes in mine. So I hope that this has been, you know, a little bit different from our usual stuff. Because, I feel like the overly feminine male features in the community are a result of me not doing enough of these classes. Just because you guys aren't really looking, and I want to level the eyes with the eyes of the before, just so you can see the change in masses or the position of things. I know that's not cropped. I know it's not like moved. So you could get, I have to align it for the before and after. See how the eyes are further apart. Downturned nose. The lips are very feminine. Again, it could have been a female, but I chose one thing to adjust today to apply to the rest. Nostrils visible on a female face. Let's look up a really pretty female face. All right, so we almost always see the nostrils on a typical pretty female, you know, go-to female face. The nostrils are almost always visible. This is an upward angle. Upward angle. I don't know what the fuck she did her. Right, so it's always like an upturned shape. And then you look up handsome male. We're gonna see some pretty boys in a second. So handsome male faces, like this guy is straight up. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I just don't like his face all that much. But these are just the you know, the storybook handsomes. But you see how the pretty boys still have all of that structure I showed you. Distant nose to mouth. Thinner upper lip, but he's got very feminine eyes. You could have just plopped them on a female face and they'd have looked feminine. dress him up, add some makeup, do his hair, he'll look feminine if you just cover up his chin and jawline and all of that. But the flat eyebrow, the larger nose, downturned. You don't see a lot of nostril on the basic non-pretty boy face. It's two different worlds. There's pretty boy and then there's handsome. And you can still be handsome without the upturned nostrils visible. It's hard to find a model for it. This is, as you know, a mix in the like femme folk, I guess, gay, all of that stuff. When you're kind of just removing the line between who gets to be feminine and not, that's its own world, its own aesthetic realm, its own, you know, sexual identity and all of that stuff. But gay men aesthetic, femme folk aesthetic, or femme people tend to borrow from the female makeup standards, which is clean up your eyebrows, that whole, you know, really defined eyebrow shape. I'm sure he's used lip filler and, you know, all that needlework, makeup to smooth the skin. Remember how we didn't blend? Well, we didn't blend because, you know, it looks very feminine to blend, which is the foundation of it all. But get rid of the beard, get rid of the mustache. See the hooded eye? You can even keep that for a female. There's females with hooded eyes. Nose to mouth ratio distance, thin upper lip, thin upper lip, thin upper lip, large lower lip, large lower lip, large lower lip, flat eyebrow, weird expression, flat eyebrow, large nose, larger than the eyes. Okay, so if you guys are designing characters that look like this, these are the go-tos. These are the basics. Thin upper lip, thin upper lip, thin upper lip, large lower, largish, largish. Flat, 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 hooded, 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 not a lot of upper eyelid space. These are known as the handsome men of our age, right? So learn from it, pull from it. This, again, could be a girl. Just pluck his eyebrows, give him some makeup, throw on some hair, extensions, and you'll get that beautiful read. He's basically like a female. Like it's if you were to draw him, you go to the part of your brain that draws a female. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a different part of your brain that gets used to seeing a male face in your drawings and gets to see that as the normal, because the males exist and you should learn how to draw them. All right, so very detailed class today. It was really nice to teach though, talk about this. Let's look at some questions. So the questions are, Korean male beauty standards borrow from feminine tropes. Big time. Like, big time. Like, I don't even know what the difference is between male and female Korean singers, other than it plays on a fair male trope. Apart from the clothing. So show us. Okay, so Korean male singer. Let me just, like, it's like, where was that just now? Like, they even wear makeup now and stuff like that. Jesus. Like this G-Dragon. Oh my god. It's like Final Fantasy. All the things I hate about Final Fantasy just in one thing. Like, too much hair gel, too many necklaces, makeup. This guy's like the only guy who's like happy to be himself. Like, he doesn't even want to change anything. Didn't he turn out to be kind of gross though? Like, didn't he do something gross? I don't know. Oh shit, I closed it. Korean male singer. So yeah, it's the makeup, the hair, the longer hair. Generally, Asian people tend to come in smaller sizes, more delicate features, skinnier, thinner, more slender, tall. Long necks, so that's why it reads as feminine, because the long neck is a very, very massive female read. But this neck to chin to jaw ratio, if put on a female, would look like she's a very beefy female. So they're still there if you look for them. But it's just the makeup really and the accessories that I'm saying is like metrosexual. Is this really a male? Like, I can see this as a male. I don't know what the appeal is. I guess the appeal is look as beautiful as you can. It's like its whole world. But then we come back, you know, to my reality, and it's just... Good old American beef. Good old American Angus. Good old American muscle. American car. All right. Anyway, let's close up shop. Thank you everyone for coming today. I really appreciate it. If you want to support me on Patreon, if you learned something today and appreciate the classes, you can do so here. Go to istebrak.com and click on the little support me on Patreon thingy I added. If you want to join as a watcher, I appreciate it. It's really not a major call to join for higher price tiers. I understand if $5, $10, or $20 is a lot. Completely get it. It's the difference between being able to buy bread, not being able to buy bread, or getting your coffee or not. I get that. Which is why I added this tier. It's not to say that you aren't supporting a lot or that, oh, someone else will do it. It's that I'm trying to get everybody to get on board, just to feel like we have a stronger support base. If you want to join the upcoming challenges, including the creature design for Halloween challenge, you can keep your eye out on the Reddit. Go to istebrak.com and click on the Reddit icon. This is how you get your work on my Photoshop to get critiqued. The 2020 design challenge due date is next Tuesday. So, I mean, this Tuesday, the next critique hour, which is the 29th, due at 4 p.m. Eastern, because I need some time to compile them all. If you guys hand them in at 5 p.m., I'm not going to see them. And let me look at the comments. Angus double patty beef burger. Damn! Thank you so much for that class. That was great. Very helpful. You're very welcome, Katie. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you guys on the next critique hour. Bye, guys.